In 1988 and 1989, UP Visayas-based anthropologist Dr. Alicia Magos had the chance to explore the mountains of central Panay for 10 days. 2 years later, in 1991 and 1992, she organized her own group composed of UPV Iloilo research assistants Ana Reza Limoso and Judith Pabito, along with a Bukidnon youth Ricardo Camarig serving as the guide. In her journey to the heartland of Panay, various agencies facilitated funding support, recognizing that there is a dearth of information in this area of research. The purpose of that trip was to see more of the Panayanon and Bukidnon barangays. She as well verified the presence and distribution of epic chanting in these areas. It was during that trek that she was able to see an 84-year-old kept maiden as well as women chanters who were sisters or close relatives of a binukot. She also learned that the people inhabiting the interior mountains of Tapas Capiz and Kalinog Iloilo are descendants of mountain people of interior Panay previously called by various names: Montes by Eugenio, Mundos by Yaldama, and Sulod by Hucano. Dr. Magos also explored central Panay in the early 1990s to clarify and strongly establish the IP identity of Panay Bukidnon and thereby clarifying their ethnic name. All mountain dwellers in central Panay, covering the 4 provinces, are Panay Bukidnon. The use of the names Bukidnon, Panayanon, Akyanon, and Irainon are names referring to their source of sustenance, the Halawad and Panay River, respectively. Living in Minuro or groups of houses, these villagers must have come from the seacoast but moved to the interior and near water bodies, the rivers and creeks. A Bukidnon house is usually a one-room affair that is elevated from the ground by bamboo poles and is made of bamboo and nipa or kugon. A common fixture in their household is a duyan and a lusong where they pound the rice. Other tools and materials that you can find inside their houses are the following: sanduko, a long black knife for cutting; lusong and halo, a mortar and pestle for pounding rice; tagad, a bamboo or wood sharpened at the end for digging holes; dawin, a small wooden basket tied to one's waist containing rice seeds; tabungos is a big woven container made of bamboo strips for containing kavans of rice; and iwa, a bolo.
Maya nga nagauma-uma kuno say amang sinang mga harayanhan.
It is from the kalupaan or land, the mountains, hills, and patches of land where they farm and get the Visayan varieties of rice such as Bisaya and Malido. While working on the farm, there were songs being sung to entertain themselves. Their lives in the mountains focused around tilling the land and searching the environment for their sustenance. Kainin farming is a common activity. They also make charcoal that they sell to the lowlands. The Bukidnon spend hours of trekking through a rugged trail and rivers, carrying their products to the nearby market by means of a short bamboo pole called tuwang-tuwangan. This balances whatever it is that they are transporting in their bodies and makes the baggage bearable. They also plant coffee, abaca, gabi, palawan, and other root crops. Root crops are staples during lean months when rice is not available. Weaving is a common activity for the Bukidnon because of the availability of bamboo and rattan. Products from these are used in their everyday chores and are sold to augment their needs. In the Katalunan or forest, where they trap wild animals using balatik, limbaong, and ligpit. They place traps for wild animals such as lagid, wild boars, and deers. It is in the katubigan or water bodies such as rivers, waters, springs, and streams where they get food also, by chopping fish and freshwater shrimps. Pangunog is a method of catching indigenous little fishes in the river called unog by using a cloth tied on the neck. Some traditional techniques used for gathering food. Patahan is a huge bamboo trap set on the intersection of the river wherein two sides of the flowing water goes to the trap. Pasulo or padamag are catching fishes, crabs, and crustaceans in the early evening by using a torch to attract these fishes and crustaceans. Respect of the spirit beings inhabiting the forests, the rivers, and the land prevails in the Bukidnon psyche, despite having missionaries coming from the lowland and Western medicines reaching the Bukidnons. They are still strongly attached to the Babaylanes and the Maaram that offer cure and provides advice. After a day's work, Panay Bukidnon would listen to the elder members of the family who would sing Sugidanon. These are epics that tells the exploits of the mythical characters of Humadapnon, Labaudungon, Malitungyawa, and others. Epics are sang or chanted long stories, handed down mostly by kept maidens or binukot. The epic chants give lessons and shows the worldview and social structure of the epic people, the ancestors of the Panay Bukidnon. It also serves as lullabies for children and as entertainment. Its theme are mostly about romance and adventure. Hungaw, the traditional wedding, figures in the lives of the Bukidnon as it is a time for feast and celebration. Federico Caballero Tuuhan was awarded the Gamaba or the National Living Treasure by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts in the year 2000 for epic literature. This is for his mastery of the 10 epics or Sugidanon. Sugidanon comes from the term sugid, to tell or narrate. He comes from a family of at least 5 generations of epic chanters. His great-grandparents are mostly chanters or Manog Sugidanon, Babaylan or shamans, and Manog Husay, arbiters. This is from the lineage of Anggoy Upin to Angguran, who is Lula Sosa. His siblings are also good epic chanters, Paino, Pulding, Amang Baoy or Mulok, Ulan, Rodolfo, and Tarsing, Abyaran. Good chanters come from the family with a Binukot lineage. Binukot is a maiden jealously hidden from the eyes of men and commands a high bride gift. At the early age of 4 or 5, or even before the girl is born, the child is already pledged for marriage to a young boy as agreed by the parents. This is sealed by a tuos, a precious material or gift to seal the agreement. In the course of Dr. Magos' research, she has collected a series of Sugidanon stories about the adventures of different characters that revolves around the land and sea. A total of 10 epic stories of 13 volumes were gathered. These are Tikum Kadlum, where Paiburong goes to a hunting spree with his dog Tikum and cuts a magical bamboo tree owned by Masangladon, a great witch and monster. Amburukay tells of a hermit woman or an ugly monster who owns a gold pubic hair and took to her care 2 beautiful young girls. Derikayong Pada is about a gold medallion that Sinagnayan offers for marriage to a lovely binukot Matanayon who was already pledged in a child marriage to Labaudungon. Hence, conflict follows. Balanakon, on the other hand, tells about a warrior who grows to Halawod to pursue Matanayon, but was interrupted by Sarandihon at the river Banggaan and ends with a fight where Balanakon was defeated. Kalampay is about a huge crab where Masangladon, a man from the underworld, falls in love with Matanayon and commands Kalampay to disguise as an island to deceive her. Pahagunong, a deity from the upper world, falls in love with the lovely Matanayon. Sinagnayan is about Matanayon, who is now wife of Labaudungon, who longs for her sister pinailig sa pinggan and persuades Labaw-Dunggon to get her from Sinagnayan and make her his wife too. Humadapnon in his story of 4 volumes talks about Humadapnon 1, which is about the Tarangban, Humadapnon 2, which is Pagbalukat Kabiday, Humadapnon 3, Hungaw, and Humadapnon 4, the Ginlawan. This is by far the longest of the epics with 3-month storytelling. They tell of Humadapnon's pursuit for Mali, their wedding, and misunderstandings. Alayaw is about a sweet-scented flower. The beautiful Malitungyawa was pursued by the handsome Humadapnon using a garland of sweet-scented flowers called alayaw. Nagbuhis, a ceremonial ritual where ayon na one old woman gets sick and performs a ceremony of power transfer to her daughter, Mali. All conflicts in the epic are settled with Laoncina as arbiter or manughusay. When Federico Caballero became a Gamaba awardee, a balay turunan was built in Garangan and later in Agcalaga to propagate the culture. Every Saturday, children would go to school and learn about epic chanting, weaving, and playing of musical instruments, as well as binanog dancing. The School for Living Traditions are informal schools with living elders serving as masters, teaching the children the skills during weekends. There were 8 more SLTs built in Calinog, Iloilo and Tapas, Capiz. Sugiddanon, or epic chanting, gives lessons and entertainment and inspires children to learn the skills of elders and their ancestors. Binunog dance, an eagle hawk dance, mentioned in the Sugiddanon, still survives today to remind the younger generation of their binukot ancestors who are good dancers. Women who dance binanog wears a pudong, headdress, biningkit, necklace, and a walkos, belt, which are all made of ancient coin. A child with interest in any of the traditional musical instruments are taught or are encouraged to learn the following: gong, litgit, tikumbo, suganggang, subing, bidya, or kudyapi. Kudyapi is a stringed instrument likened to a guitar. Aside from Magas has facilitated the digitalizing of the epics from the sensitive tape recording to DVDs with the assistance of the UP Diliman College of Music. They were transcribed and encoded with the help of our researchers. The archived documents of the 10 epics with 13 volumes at the Center for West Visayan Studies were secured and later on translated to Kinaraya, Filipino, and English. Eventually, it will be in e-book copies and hard copies, which will all be published by the UP Press. The works of Dr. Magos and Nong Pedring has gone far because of the dedication that they gave to resurrect a dying culture in the heartland of Panay. We are now recipients of a rich cultural heritage. The place of the Panay Bukidnon and their recognition as an indigenous group has been secured. It is a legacy that Dr. Alicia Magos and Gamaba awardee Federico Caballero have bestowed upon us, the Panayanons.
Gani gadulong datugain mudungan matimbayog dampunay matindog si manayo sa sarambuan ng pada sa kurong bulawan sulod lang sa uriman in manok pay balay nadunggan anu pay nabatinan kaginoong harang don kadatong parang kutonit masimburut pay dangkot masibot pay donikok marurot si punay matabo si Manay.